Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have terrible luck for the next week.
I love you 3,000.
Superheroes are a strange breed. This is not just because of the whole dressing up in odd-looking costumes to go fight criminals deal, but because of their sheer sense of self-sacrifice. These are people who not only believe that with their great power comes a great responsibility to take care of others, but they are even willing to die in the process if their death helps save others. With such a willingness to die for the greater good, you better believe that comic book writers are keen to work that idea into as many stories as possible. This is why it seems like you never get to the end of a major comic book crossover without at least one superhero sacrificing his or her life to save humanity. Sometimes it is just to save a single person. Here are the top 10 superhero sacrifices in movies. Number 10. Jean Grey's Suicide Mission. A towering wall of water threatens to wipe out the X-Men in their jet, which has developed a snag at the worst possible moment. It's up to the telepathic mutant to slip out unnoticed, and use her powers to hold back the wave while she takes control of the jet and sends it on its way to safety. This is the only way, she says in a final farewell to her teammates as the wave consumes her. A noble way to go indeed, or was it? Jean Grey's death in 2003's X2 actually set the stage for her return as the villainous Phoenix in 2006's The Last Stand. Only to die once again. But this time at the hands of Wolverine, whom she begs to save her by killing her. So true to her name, Phoenix is the X-Men universe's most resurrected character, but her heroic effort in X2 is probably the most memorable of all of her brushes with death. Before moving to the next number, we just want a small favor from you. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Press the bell icon and get 1 week good luck for you. Try this, it really works. Number 9. Captain America. Next up is the super soldier himself, Captain America: The First Avenger, which was released in 2011, chronicles the transformation of the weakling Steve Rogers into everyone's favorite super serum-enhanced shield hero. Portrayed by the blonde and brawny Chris Evans, Captain America meets a watery grave as he flies the enemy bomber Valkyrie into the ocean to save New York from imminent destruction. It's a death fit for a hero, one in which there are few tears, but plenty of bravery, and even a promise to take the pretty woman dancing on another day. It definitely doesn't have the waterworks effect of Yondu's death, and not just because the film at its end resurrects its hero from an icy tomb 70 years into the future. Yet the Cap's sacrifice counts for something more than its immediate end. For Marvel, it reinforces this all-American soldier's courageous and patriotic heart, but for this list, it's quite simple. It caps the most popular Avenger on this planet and arguably the MCU's most valuable asset, as subsequent films have proved again and again and again. Number 8. Logan. At this number we have Logan, better known as Wolverine as the X-Men, lays down his life, saving his daughter and her friends from dark forces in 2017's Logan. The finality of it all is what makes his sacrifice special. It's literally the end of an era, and as it also spells the end of Hugh Jackman's 17-year-long career portraying the adamantium-clawed mutant, that's a lifetime in the movie world. Directed by the acclaimed filmmaker James Mangold, Logan opens in the year 2029, when the world is more or less rid of mutants, and Logan, a lot wearier, shallow-eyed, and gray-headed than we've seen him before, is quietly living out his retirement as a driver. Until he's pushed into one last hero's mission, Jackman turns in a hell of a performance in a gritty film that's a departure from the usually new hero, as he was stabbed multiple times, and then impaled on a tree. That his Killer X-24 happens to be his clone and mirror image, also played by Jackman, is even harder to get over. Number 7. Vision Sacrifice.
It's a stone. Half the universe dies. It's not fair. It shouldn't be you, but it is.
Sacrifices don't get grislier than this entry. In 2018's Infinity War, as Thanos closes in on a vision for his Mind Stone, the former realizes that the only good outcome for the Avengers is the worst possible one for himself. Rather than let the Mad Titan have his Infinity Stone and fulfill his desire to destroy half the universe, Vision decides he must destroy the stone and himself in the process. This allowing him to do so is a dilemma for the Avengers. We don't trade lives as Captain of America, but what other choice do they have? Vision convinces his lady love Scarlet Witch to do the deed, seeing no way around it. She pours her powers into the Mind Stone, shattering it and killing Vision. But there's a twist, isn't there? With his newly acquired Time Stone, Thanos now has the power to turn back time, which he uses to undo Vision's death. He then rips the restored Mind Stone out of the Vision's head, killing him a second time and rendering his sacrifice completely futile. Number 6. Quicksilver saved Guy.
You didn't see that coming.
As if having to kill your lover isn't bad enough, imagine seeing your brother die as well. Before Vision's death in Infinity War, Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, which is her twin brother Pietro Maximoff, better known as Quicksilver, get killed in the Age of Ultron. In the 2015 flick, the speedster throws himself between a rain of gunfire and a Hawkeye who's shielding a civilian child. Ironically, Quicksilver dies saving the one guy he has the worst vibes with. Joss Whedon, the director, has said that he felt having the most arrogant, most annoying character die such a heroic death would resonate with the viewers. Meanwhile, Marvel execs believed it would help solidify the Scarlet Witch's character. Whether their plan worked is open to debate, with some fans far from overjoyed over such an outcome for Quicksilver. Well, Hawkeye does later name his son Pietro, so that's some consolation. In the meantime, fans are still hoping for Quicksilver to be revived, if not in the Avengers then at least in the X-Men franchise. Number 5. Yondu Sacrifice.
No! Oh, no!
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is one of the funniest films to come out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and yet it also delivers one of the most emotional send-offs for any character in the MCU. Yondu's sacrifice to save the life of his surrogate son Peter Quill. Peter's real dad crumbles around them after a decisive battle. The Blue Ravager embraces death after giving the Star-Lord the only functional spacesuit. In his last words to Peter, he reveals his love for the boy, as he adds he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. It's a moment that surely tugs at your heart even if you're an unfeeling piece of junk. The scene that follows Yondu's death is even more poignant because at his funeral the Ravagers who had excommunicated him welcome him back into their fold while his friend Kraglin lets out a scream that's both joyous and painful. It's no wonder that the actor Michael Rooker, who plays Yondu, counts his character's death as the one that made him tear up the most. Number 4. Superman Time. Take a break now Marvel, because DC has the next one covered. Coming in at this number is the Man of Steel himself. In 2016's Dawn of Justice, featuring two caped crusaders for the price of one superhero who sacrifices himself to save the world from doomsday, driving a kryptonite spear through the monster's genetically engineered heart. The film ends on a scene where the dirt on Clark Kent's casket floats up a little bit, teasing his return in the Justice League movie due out the following year. He does materialize alive and kicking in that film, so what was the point of it all then? What makes this sacrifice impactful has less to do with the film's plot and more with comic book lore. It's a cinematic shout out to 1992, when DC did the unthinkable and had Superman killed off. With Superman now the best-selling comic book of all time, by a fair margin, we've got to question DC's decision making them. Luckily for them, the gamble paid off. The death of Superman issue remains iconic to this day. You can even call it a precursor to the trend today of superheroes dying, but not staying dead for too long. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take me 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal: you just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribes button and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 15 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 3, Black Widow Avengers, Endgame. We're now back to the MCU. At this place is a Black Widow who sacrifices her life to attain the Soul Stone and engage the 4th installment of the Avengers franchise. Natasha Romanoff's death is made more poignant by the fact that it could just as easily have been Hawkeye. Acquiring the Soul Stone requires a sacrifice, that of the one you love. The two friends argue, bicker and fight over who it should be, but it ends with the former KGB assassin beating out the man wants to kill her, but instead became her closest friend. A year on, since the film hit theaters, some viewers are still unhappy with the outcome. Others feel it makes sense, arguing that the Black Widow has always felt the need to atone for her past. Number 2. Batman: The Knight Rises. We're ticking down to the final spot, but before that let's take a look at number 2. In 2012, The Dark Knight Rises. Batman is a crippled shut-in and a hero in exile, having taken the rap for what happened in the previous film. But when Gotham faces annihilation from the League of Shadows and its menacing face Bane, the reluctant protector must once again don his cape and hood. But this Batman is a shadow of his former self, weaker, more vulnerable, basically more human. As such, the only idea he could come up with to save Gotham was to run away with the bomb and die with it. A hero can be anyone is his answer to Commissioner Gordon, who wants Gotham to know the name of the hero they'll soon owe their lives to. A hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat around a young boy's shoulders. It's one of the film's most memorable lines, perfectly summing up its hero's strong moral credence. Christopher Nolan's apocalyptic conclusion to his Batman trilogy ends on a somewhat uncharacteristically optimistic note, with Bruce Wayne alive and well, even enjoying an Italian date with Catwoman. It appears he had the Batwing on autopilot all along while disposing of the bomb. That's a bit of a dampener, isn't it? But while the suspense lasts, it doesn't get any better than going down in a nuclear mushroom cloud. Number 1. Iron Man's Sacrifice. Iron Man's sacrificial snap at the end of the Endgame is by far the most impactful superhero death. Holding all 6 Infinity Stones, the armored Avenger snaps his fingers, snapping Thanos and his army out of existence. But the effort's too much for his body to take, and he dies surrounded by all of his friends. The scenes are made unforgettable by 2 superb lines of dialogue. "I am inevitable," says Thanos, getting ready to snap his fingers. But the hero beats him to it, declaring, "I am an Iron Man." Few heroes get the kind of send-off Iron Man gets in the Endgame. He takes care of the biggest, baddest villain this universe has ever seen. His death is permanent, which makes his sacrifice that much more valuable. If you look at it from Tony Stark's personal perspective, he has no unfinished business left to do, having achieved all that he set out to do, which includes raising a family with Peppa. Thus it's a fitting farewell to have a hero who's endeared himself to moviegoers over the span of 9 films and 12 years, proving himself to be the cornerstone of the MCU. Because let's not forgotten, it was the surprise success of 2008's Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark that got the whole Avengers juggernaut rolling. And there you have it, the top 10 superhero sacrifices in movies. Now, which one did you love or hate the most? Which one made you tear up? Press the like button if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe to my channel for more upcoming videos.